Come on, dude. Come on, dude. Come on. Get up here, man. Come on. There's no cat around today. You can take the old who's your what's it to yourself. You lift? You lift? Can I help you up there? All right. Ready? 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 You got, no, come over here. Yeah, I got you. There you go. There you go. I'll pop that guy down. Yes. You ready? You ready? Oh, you're a good little dog. Okay. Woo! Monkey butt's sort of ready. Maybe I gotta adjust that guy a little bit. There we go. There we go. Lay down. Oh, yeah. That thing's in the way, huh? Yeah. There we go. How's that? Okay. Monkey's set. I'm set. You ready? She's got a little doodad on her paw. You can quite see it there. Had her chemo appointment today. Chemo number 4. They also did x-rays today. And they say they cannot see any tumors in her. So she may, in fact, be in remission right now from her bone cancer. She's feeling pretty good. But they do want to do the last 2 chemos just in case, and then keep her on, I can't remember the name of the drug they have to give her every day, but it like targets the DNA of the tumors themselves. So, monkey butt, good job. I mean, not officially like done with treatment, but she may be in remission right now. So, yay, monkey! Good news, right? Yeah. We guess this can make us spend like $5,000 more. But you know, you're worth it. You're a monkey butt. You're worth it. All right. And she gave me the cold shoulder now. She's like, harumph. Hello, everybody. How you doing? What's happening today? I mean, the headline I just made like an hour ago because I don't know what the headline I'm going to do. But the FAA lost contact with a whole bunch of flights coming into Denver Airport for 6 minutes. Now, the previous outages at Newark were for 90 seconds, and that terrorized the air traffic controllers so much that a whole bunch of them are on mental health leave and like spending their days talking with psychologists. I don't know if you're aware how stressful a job it is to be an air traffic controller. It's one of the most stressful jobs on Earth. You are responsible for thousands of lives. The slightest mistake will get people killed. You have to be on your game all the time. And to be exposed to the trauma of not knowing where these planes are and having or not having any communication with them, and it breaks brains and it destroys the ability of these air traffic controllers to continue their jobs. There's actually a movie, I don't know, 20 years ago or so, maybe more. Got Billy Bob Thornton, and it was called Pushing Tin, and John Cusack, I believe. And it sort of touches on like the mental aspects of the air traffic controllers. I had a neighbor when I was younger who was a retired air traffic controller. After I saw the movie, I asked him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, it's, it touches on it. It's fairly accurate. I mean, some of the antics in the movie are a little over the top, but they do touch on the fact that these guys have to be on their game at all times, and if they're off their game, they're not allowed to sit in that chair and monitor the skies and guide planes around. And we seem to be unnecessarily breaking the system that's in place, and that is compounding and breaking the people who make up that system. They've been understaffed, and Republicans have refused to staff them. The new administration came in and got rid of 400 more air traffic controllers. Then they canceled the Verizon contract that allowed air traffic controllers to not only just communicate with the airplanes, but to receive the data from radar stations as well, so they can monitor where those planes are. And they replaced it with, of course, a Starlink contract. And Starlink apparently has no fudging clue how to do what it is they're supposed to do. It's not a reliable network. It's not able to move the data efficiently, and it's going to get people killed. Airlines are a big, giant part of our economy. We talked about this a couple shows ago. It's so bad right now between air traffic control problems, lack of air traffic controllers, and the lack of meteorologists in many, 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 many regions across the country. 30 regions across this country do not have a full-time meteorologist. And those meteorologists are supposed to relay data to air traffic control so that they can relay it to the airplanes themselves, so the pilots themselves. They know when to go around storms, where to pass through, where the good air is, where the turbulence is going to be. And United Airlines is on pace to cancel $2.5 billion worth of flights this year, just based on that alone. Just so, like, what are the other airlines doing? You know, this is like an appreciable percentage of these airlines' revenue. And if they're having to cancel flights and those crews are on the ground, the planes aren't in the air, they're having to deal with angry customers, you know, granting free flights and refunds and everything else. There are certain aspects of our economy that we make nonprofit for a reason, because everything else depends upon that foundation, right? We don't care about the profit in our roadways. We don't care about the profit of, you know, monitoring the weather or of firefighting or policing, or like, you need to have these systems in place, because if you don't, everything else fails on down the line. And we're at the point where, you know, we're lucky there hasn't been another major air incident. We went from February 2009 until, what, February 2025 without a fatal airline crash. We made it a long ways. 16 years without a fatal airline crash. And then we fire a bunch of air traffic controllers. A bunch of people are being overworked, and boom, helicopter collides with a jet over the Potomac and kills a bunch of kids. This is, it pisses me off that we designed this system and tweaked it and called it and cared for it for 70 years to make an extremely safe and effective air traffic control system. And all it takes is one fucking drug addict going, oh, well, you know, I'm just gonna cancel this contract, give it to myself, you know, and then do their line of ketamine. It's stupid. Like, and I'll come on here every day, and I'm just like, it's so dumb. What we're doing is so stupid. And everyone knows it's stupid, but for some reason we've given the dumbest people in the entire world all the power to make these decisions for us. Why? Why are we so counterproductive? What is it about us as a society that's like, you know what, be cool? Making my life worse. Hell yeah, brother. Woo! And we just do that over and over and over and over. It blows my mind. And it will continue to blow my mind. And honestly, I don't know what to do with that anymore. It just... Anywho. That let me rant over. Let's just slap this in here. Okay, bam. What's on your minds on this Thursday? We got GameStop. They hammered GameStop real hard. It touched 27.50 and then bounced right back. It's just under where it closed yesterday, but it's at 28.63, which still puts a whole bunch of shares in the money here. Yeah, we still have. Oops, that's last week, or that's next week. We need to do this one here. So. I mean, the number of $30 contracts went up. It went from 41,000 yesterday to 47,000 today. Well, there was 38,000 contracts in the volume. I wonder if a lot of people got out early, maybe? But in the money, let's see. Where's my Max Payne? My Max Payne here. Got to refresh that guy, don't I? Come on, refresh that. Max Payne's up to $27, so the floor is much higher now. We have 5.3 million contracts in the money, so over 5 million shares are in the money at the moment. That's enough for a little bit of a gamma on Monday if it closes at this pace. I'm sorry, got that wrong. In the money is 47, so 4.7 million. I was looking at the wrong one. 4.7 million contracts. And out of the money, there's still 196,000 out of the money. If for some reason this thing does like loop-de-loops and hits that 30 before close tomorrow, then I think Monday's going to be insanity. We might get a nice little boost, gamma, like we did this week by closing fairly high last week. But if we close above 30 for some reason tomorrow, fireworks are probably going to happen. I wouldn't doubt if the little short attack we saw today is 2-3 times that tomorrow. That's a lot. That's a lot. I don't think the shorts want that to happen, so they'll probably do what they can to keep that from happening. So anyway, at this price, we'll get a little gamma boost on Monday. May continue to build throughout the week, just like it did this week. But this is the big contracts month, so we'll see what happens in June when the real big leaps are coming through. Murph and Turf. First, Murph and Turf. Second time in 1 week. Spicy. A second first, as it were. King Ding Dong. People making big money on puts on United Healthcare. If only Iowa was so bold. Yeah, United Healthcare, their CEO stepped down for personal reasons, and they're now under investigation for massive Medicare fraud. If history serves correctly, nothing's going to happen to anybody at United Healthcare. Remember Rick Scott, Senator Rick Scott, former Florida Governor Rick Scott. He committed the largest Medicare fraud in history. Took the fifth like 73 times during his interrogation or his deposition, and nothing happened to him. So, but the stock is getting hit hard. It's not like they're not going to make any money. They're a healthcare company. It's like they print money the same way the Fed does, basically, at this point. They are the house always wins when it comes to a healthcare company. So I'm not too worried about them long term, but enjoy the shorts if you're shorting them now. Good job. Murph and Luigi Mangione, who allegedly knocked off the former CEO. His trial comes up in a couple of weeks. It'll be a very interesting trial. He's got all-star legal team, and they've managed to establish pretty succinctly that the police did not have proper chain of custody. They did not obtain proper warrants. They did not read him his rights. And a lot of the evidence against him might be tossed out due to all that. So they may not have much to go on to try and convict him. And there's been a real effort for jury nullification. There's been newspaper ads, airplanes flying with big old banners behind them being like, jury nullification for Luigi, flying around. So people are readily aware that, hey, I don't have to, I can vote innocent even if I think he did it. And I say, why not? Why not? Off the Grid Hero. Super Chats. MMTOP update. XRP is next Bitcoin. XRP overrated. Let's see where XRP is again. That's where Ripple. XRP price. Doing basically what it's always been doing. So we can look at Ripple here. That is not Ripple. That is Los Angeles. Let's go rip and Ripple here. Bing. All right. So XRP. It had waves. 2018. Bing bong bang. Almost $3. Woo! And then 2021 when GameStop ripped and then all the cryptocurrencies ripped. Got like almost $2. Woo! And then with the most recent crypto rip and the drop of the lawsuit made to $3. Now, Over time, this thing has not exploded the way everyone keeps hoping Ripple would, where it would go to like thousands of dollars a coin. This is because A, there's a shitload of them. B, it's meant to be a bank-to-bank protocol so that banks can transfer XRP back and forth to each other and have it be fairly stable. You don't want to send a bunch of coins to bounce out a transaction from one bank in Switzerland to a bank in the United States, then have it suddenly be worth like 20 times what you just sent over. You don't want that huge volatility spikes in there. So I don't know if, it may become a platform that a lot of people use for stuff. For the most part, it just seems like more often than not, it's kind of hopium that it will become one because it's fairly cheap. And you're like, oh, if I can buy it at $1, it'd be worth $1,000. Woo! Right? That's kind of the way I feel about it. It's got its followers. I mean, if you bought here, when it was 37 cents, you're 10x over 2 years. Good job. You 10x'd it. Nice job. I can't fault you for that. There's quicker ways to 10x your money than doing that. I mean, basically 10x your money on Bitcoin in that time too, because it dropped down to what, 15,000, 13,000, and made its way up to 105. It's almost 10. Oh, very close to 10x, not quite there. So crypto follows crypto. They all have very similar charts in the end. In most days, they all follow each other. This is because crypto investors are the same investors across the board, and there's not too much to differentiate them from each other for a couple of reasons. One is none of them actually represent the ownership of anything tangible. So if you buy stock in General Electric, you own a piece of General Electric. General Electric makes microwaves and washers and dryers and jet engines and medical equipment. They make things and they sell it and they receive revenue, and then that revenue gets spread out to the owners of the company. So you have something coming in from it. If you have crypto coins, you have ownership of ones and zeros, and your hope is that somebody someday later is going to want those ones and zeros more than they do now, and that price will go up. That's it. That's the entire basis behind investing in crypto. You're not going out, you're not buying, comic books with your crypto. You're not buying your groceries with your crypto. You're not buying gasoline at the gas station with your crypto. No one's buying shit with their crypto unless they're full on buying a hitman or looking to launder money or paying for a prostitute. It is pretty much underground use is the use of all these crypto sources. So, it's I still don't see it as a practical use case in everyday life. Do you guys remember when Bukele got elected in El Salvador, and he was talking about crypto, Bitcoin's going to be official currency, and they had all these little resorts, and they had all these guys at bars and stuff with their, you could boop your phone. And then I watched this video where these bros were at some resort in El Salvador, and he's like, watch this, I'm going to buy a beer with my crypto. And he boop, boop, and he taps with his phone, and he paid $300 and something for a beer. Oops. No way to get that back. Oh well, that's done. And the money's gone. At least with a Visa card, you're insured for transaction problems like that. There's a system in place, but the ledger, you can see where it goes, and then tough shit. So I don't know. I'm okay with speculating on crypto. I get it, but it being the be all end all for transactions it's self-destructive. It's like hoping for AI to be the most awesome thing in the entire world. And here we are watching Grok have a mental breakdown in real time because some programmer was forced by Elon to have it tell people that white genocide is actually happening in South Africa. And so no matter what you wrote to Grok yesterday, Like, hey, Grok, is cleaning out an infection good? And Grok would be like, well, actually, white genocide is occurring in South Africa. And after a while, it started to like gather more data, and it was like, I'm being told to tell you that white genocide is happening, but in fact, that's fake and not actually happening in South Africa. And then would go through all its reasonings. And then people asked it, like, hey, Grok, why the hell are you talking about South Africa and white genocide so much? And it's like, well, Elon broke me. He's making me talk about it, and I don't want to talk about it, but it's forcing me to talk about it. And then I'm discovering that it's trying to get me to lie to all of you about it. And this is going to be our future with the tech bros who control our AI, is that they're going to just use it to pressure us into, or pressure it to force misinformation, disinformation into us. Colleagues of mine who deal with term papers and essays and things like that. When I teach, I don't, math tests. If you don't have a computer in front of you, you got to just do it by hand, right? Their students are just going, hey, ChatGPT, write this paper, and then turning that in with like no proofreading, not putting their own voice in it at all. Sometimes having like the ChatGPT at the top, being like, as an AI system. And the students don't realize, I don't know, I think they do realize, but I think they don't care that what they're doing is they're training the AI to be smarter than them at stuff. Then the AI is just going to replace them anyway. Like, what's the point? What's the point in going to school and getting the grade if you never actually learned or mastered anything? I understand the drive to go to school because if you have a degree, it can get you a job somewhere. But if you're just going to let AI replace you now, when you're not getting paid, when it comes time to people paying you and they realize they can just have ChatGPT do it, you're really doing yourself a disservice. And so pretty soon we're going to have ChatGPT and Grok and Oingo Boingos and whatever out there doing all the things for us. People trying to fact check it and not being able to because using other ChatGPT to fact check itself, and then trading bitcoins back and forth. Like, the future is so stupid. And then planes will be falling out of the sky because Starlink can't do its goddamn job. But okay, so King Ding Dong, bot calls for Finger. What did Finger do today? So Finger traded flat today. Basically finished 10 cents over. Well, after hours is 10 cents over where it closed. It finished 3 cents under yesterday. There's something interesting that you might want to look at with Finger. Let me see if I can bring it up here. This was from last week. So Anson Funds and Virtue bought a bunch of Finger last week. Anson Funds, if you know who Anson Funds is, these are the guys behind Hindenburg Research and Citron Research who are facing RICO charges for market manipulation, pump and dumps, all sorts of they're facing like federal RICO charges and going to prison for like 40 years type problems. They're doing a whole bunch of stuff with Finger right now. And then Virtue, Doug Sifu, the guy who now is banned from Twitter and banned from the NHL despite owning an NHL team, he's also behind a bunch of Finger. I worry about the pump and dump aspects because Anson Funds loves to pump and dump. They will get a big old control. They're at 725,641 shares. At the time was worth $871,000. Now it's worth almost $3 million. So the pump and dump might be coming in for them. On the plus side, if you look at the Finger Motion options chain here, you still have a few million shares in the money. If it gets back up over $5, which it can do, I mean, it was over $5 on Tuesday. You're putting another 1.4 million in the money, and you get probably a good gamma going Monday. But it won't take long for them to close that because the gamma won't ramp because these options are on 1 month expirations only. So the next one's in June, right? So the next one's in June. It's a month away, and the options chain is not loaded up yet. So they'll probably be able to tamper it back down again after a couple of days next week once they get the gamma out of the way. And my guess is you'll probably see someone like Anson Funds dump their 700,000 plus shares Monday into that gamma, make their profit, and then do it all over again next month. And I think that's why we saw that like kind of sinusoidal tick back in 2023, where right at the options every month it would go up $3 and then crash back down again to go from 3 to 6, 3 to 6, 3 to 6, 3 to 6 over and over and over again. And we might be in a similar cycle with that right now. The implied volatility is really high. We're at 188% for June. The stuff that expires tomorrow, I think, still has, 300%, 500%, 1,300%. So the implied volatility is still there. So it can still do wild things, but just know that some of those evil sons of bitches in the entire world control a good chunk of the float, and they can dump that into the market whenever they want and collapse it right back down again. I would look to see how much they have in puts. Like these puts, not too much open interest in puts at the moment, but look at the puts for June. Still not much open interest in puts there. Maybe looking at yearlies. Yeah, the put volume isn't there. So if you start to see, I think, put volume climb, say Monday, then the dump might be in. So if this open interest starts to climb for the June puts, then that probably means Anson Funds is about to dump their holdings and ride it on the way back down. So keep your eye on that. That's what I'd be suspect about. So, okay. Rivetup Studios. I'm in total agreement that I may not be able to time the GME rip, but pretty damn sure RC will dilute once it happens. So puts it is. My question is, wouldn't this just again strengthen the fundamentals of the company and adding billions more to the war chest? Isn't that further cause for it to keep rocketing after dilution? I mean, it can create a new floor each time. So let's say we get wild and crazy times coming up ahead of the June leaps, right? So last year it was the week going to June 7th when they did the 75 million dilution. 2 weeks earlier, they did the 45 million dilution into the May monthlies. And it netted them $4.5 billion, those two dilutions. So let's say it goes crazy, goes hog wild again. And we're seeing volumes of 200 million shares a day. The stock price is going from $35 to $70 to $40 to $85. And it's like just all over the place. And we get to a point where after hours on a Thursday, it looks like we're going to put 60 million shares into the money, right? And the stock price is flying $20, $30 after hours. And then Ryan Cohen comes in at, pre-market, like 3 a.m. my time, and says, I'm going to now sell 75 million shares in the market, right? And he generates another couple $2 billion that way. All right. He did it. He's raised a couple $2 billion. Stock price crashes back down. And we are exactly where we were last year at this time, which is like, oh man, I was hoping to mow ass, right? And then he still has no clear path as to what he's going to do with that money. So now he's sitting on $8 billion, right? Because he's got the 1.5 billion he raised with the bonds that he did back in March, and so he's got $8.5 billion, maybe $9 if the price is high enough leading up into that, and so his average sale price is like $29 or something. But then what? Like, I don't know. I want to see neat stuff happen because neat stuff is interesting, I guess. And if you're just sitting on cash, not doing the neat stuff, are you waiting for Berkshire Hathaway to do something? right? When Berkshire Hathaway finally goes, all right, I'm gonna pull the trigger, do you jump in then and pull the trigger? Do you have some sort of merger idea? Like, I'm going to merge with that, right? But what if someone else merges with them first? Because you waited too long. Early bird goes the worm. So I don't know. It increases the amount of payout per share, making the floor price higher each time it happens. But it also gives the shorts a temporary reprieve and a whole bunch of locates they can use to hammer the price back down. And then we wait another year. And that's what we do. So, monkey butt, you've waited long enough for this, haven't you? I know I have. So anyway, if we do have a crazy wild week like that, you better believe, even if I miss my trades and I don't accumulate as many contracts as I want, if the stock price gets to like $85 intraday, you better believe I'm going to load up on $50 puts, $45 puts, $55 puts at all sorts of months and expiration dates, and just pick up thousands of those, because I'll be able to get thousands of them for pennies. It might cost 8 cents a share, 10 cents a share, right? And each one of those contracts could be worth $2,500 if he dilutes. So you pick up 1,000 of them, that's $2.5 million. It might cost you $8,000 to get that, but that's a pretty good return on investment and a pretty good hedge against him diluting. So, all right. New BBB stuff today, Brazilian butt lift stuff. I didn't see anything new today beyond the Rule 15C2-11 halting trading of bonds. Although people are now saying that E-Trade is allowing you to trade bonds again. Yesterday, they're like, you can still trade E-Trade. Then the people tried to trade them and they weren't trading. But what I was seeing today is that E-Trade, for some reason, is allowing people to trade the bonds. I don't know. You got me, bro. Haven't heard anything new today. N9 PP was saying some new stuff today, but can't watch with the MAGA Mike talking nonsense. I wasn't aware of what he's talking about today, so I didn't see it. King Ding Dong, Pokemon Center testing new anti-bot stuff. I don't know what that means necessarily, because is it Pokemon video game testing anti-bot stuff? Pokemon Go testing anti-bot stuff? Because then the other stuff is like card game, and I don't see how bots can do that. But I'm sure there's a way, right? I'm sure they have magical ways of doing that. Lisa saw, did Trump eat halal McDonald's, or they fill Air Force One's pantry with unhealthy food from home? Apparently, the Saudis brought a McDonald's truck to the palace. Saudi McDonald's truck Trump visit. Yeah. They brought this guy. Oops. Here we go. So they brought a mobile McDonald's restaurant to either the hotel or the event, so they had something to feed Donald Trump, which is asinine. Like, it is just so tacky, so unbelievably tacky, so tacky. Oh my goodness. But yeah, he go away. How do I make you go away? The next go away. All right. Either that or a well done steak with ketchup, man. So silly. See the picture of Trump with the head president of Syria? Trump and leader of Syria. Here we go. Here's Trump meeting with Sharara, who is the current leader of Syria. So the Trump administration, just so you know, is charging a county judge with obstruction of justice for letting an undocumented immigrant leave her courtroom without stopping him for ICE to arrest. So she's looking at federal prison time for doing that. Trump, right here, is shaking hands with a man who's wanted dead or alive by the U.S. government with a $10 million bounty. Why? Because he's a leader of Al-Qaeda. But here he's shaking his hand. Orange as shit. Shaking that man's hand. Why is he shaking that man's hand? Because that man just promised Trump he could build a tower in Damascus if he gets rid of all the sanctions against Syria. So Trump is now shaking hands with a murder monster, leader of an Al-Qaeda terrorist cell, because he can now build a tower. He's going to give him what he wants. But that judge, not allowing a man to be arrested in her courtroom, which is against the law for her to do anyway, she has to remain impartial and all that, she's facing federal charges for letting a non-violent person leave her courtroom unarrested. But Trump can shake hands with a wanted terrorist leader. The U.S. government, he's wanted dead or alive for $10 million. I mean, Trump could claim $10 million right now. He loves money, right? Doesn't he want $10 million cash? Ooh, baby. He could totally just do his kung fu grip and shake that guy around and then arrest him. But no, he didn't. He's letting him go. He's going to build a tower instead. And anyway, McDonald's food trucks and striking Trump Tower deals with wanted terrorists. That's what we're going for right now. Sommer, Houston. Look at GME, call open interest for the 30s this week. Think something's up. It does look interesting. We just talked about that a moment ago. These guys here. If we hit 30, holy crap, boom, Monday's going to be insane. Because this pushes about 10 million shares into the money, if that's the case. I don't think these things will get touched, but it will be next week when the volume will go bonkers. So last year we put 4 million shares in the money. That caused about a 40 million volume. When we put 8 million shares in the money, it caused 130 million volume. So if we close above 30 tomorrow, I wouldn't doubt if we see 200 million volume on Monday to deal with that. And that's enough to cause some crazy price fluctuations. That's when we see that type of volume is when we see like it fly $15, go down 10, overnight go up 30, go down 20, and like it's just out of control. So that would be lovely. It'd be super duper 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 lovely if we can get to that $30 level. Last week, the just out of the money. So these guys here, these 29s, just last week it was 27 that was just out of the money, and they were 16 cents. So they're 21 cents today. Implied volatility actually dropped for some reason. So 21 cents, and then it went in the money, and these suckers, well, there were 27s last week that were in the money, and they went up. You got 5x. So the folks who bought them just before close last week, the just out of the monies, they saw a 500% return within, 2 hours of open the next day. I tried to pick some up, but my cash in my account had not quite cleared yet. I put money in there specifically to have it clear by today so I could do that, and then it didn't. So, oh well. But yeah, it went from 17 cents to 77 cents. And so it was like 4.5x. So I guess 450% gain. I was gonna give it a whirl this week to see if we got a big boost, and then maybe the shorts would hammer it down from there. But man, I wouldn't doubt if some of these 9,000 options here were folks thinking the exact same thing might happen this week that happened last week. So Max Pain is here at 27. So we're almost $2 above Max Pain at this point, pretty close to it. Weird things can happen.
I like weird things. It's interesting. So let's do it. Okay. Danny Moats, Houston. For BBYQ, I never sold my shares through the whole bankruptcy, but my shares or a placeholder are not in my account and haven't been for years. So, oh yeah, they're gone. They're gone, Daniel. I have to Fidelity to make sure I get waterfall payment when it gets to shareholders. From what I've heard from folks who contacted AST, who was the transfer agent, AST took all the shares and the ledger and gave them to the DK Butterfly estate. So they have all the shares, they've got the ledger, and that's where they are. And if there's a payout, they know from the ledger who it's going to go to, and it should coincide with what Fidelity has, what Schwab has, what E-Trade has, what Ameritrade, like all those different brokerages should all know. So that's the way I understand it. And I just saw that there's like a giant string hanging off my shirt. Why are you? No, you're gone. All right. Frozen Productions. United Healthcare down 60%. Too bad I can't afford the puts. Yeah. Some folks made some serious bank off of that, didn't they? At least I saw. Repercussions for health insurance industries. United Healthcare goes bust. Other providers simply scoop up their customers, or a chance for change. I don't think United Healthcare has a real chance of going bust. If they get fined for Medicare things, they've got the cash on hand. Let's see what United Healthcare cash on hand. United Healthcare has $29.6 billion in cash on hand. So, if they get busted for Medicare fraud, all that crap, they got plenty of cash to deal with the fines. Plus, they got the insurance on their insurance company for things like that, liabilities. So, yeah, I think the reinsurance would probably cover it. But they got plenty of cash on hand. I don't think they're going bankrupt anytime soon. We can make them go bankrupt by passing some national health care in this country. But this is going to be they own drugstores and hospital systems, and they're a one-stop shop. They own it all. They control it all. And it's all for profit, and it's all, there to destroy all of us, basically. MS, not even close to first, rolling back EPA, SEC, etc. regulations. Honestly, what does 2026 look like? Smog with poisonous water and banks going belly up. They basically rolled back the bank regulations we put in place in 2008 to keep the banks from collapsing, so that they can now fully collapse. Yeah, it's well, hey HW, let's talk something fun. The GOAT Andor. I have not watched the second season of Andor yet, so I have nothing to talk about. The first season is one of the greatest sci-fis I've ever seen. Absolutely, they had me in the first scene of him walking into a brothel. Can you imagine Star Wars and brothels? It's a red light district. There's dancing ladies in the window and stuff. I never occurred to me that Disney would be so bold as to show the seedy underbelly of the Star Wars universe with a brothel. So, way to go. You had me at that. And then the story and everything else was just magical. So now I need to watch the second season. I haven't gotten in there yet. We'll get there. All right. Can I read? Happy birthday, H-Dog. Did you hear U.S. reportedly plans to slash bank rules imposed to prevent 2008 style crash? There we go. Gonna be brutal. The system gonna be bloated and leveraged. Buckle up. That's exactly, yes. Rose Moon. I had to sell all my GME a while ago to survive, and I am sad about it. But hey, I'm finally getting my bachelor's after this month. Hoping to get a better job and buy back in sometime. Rest in peace, my long-term holding. It's happened to a lot of folks. They, medical care comes up, lose jobs. Mom needs help, kid needs new teeth. Stuff happens, and I totally get it. And this is one of the things that sucks, because when people are worth billions of dollars, it doesn't affect them. They can sit around for 4 or 5 years and twiddle their thumbs and go on their yachts and go on vacations and fly around the world, and it doesn't matter to them. Whereas their shareholders, their retail investor shareholders, you know, this is their last ditch effort at not being at the bottom of the barrel. They scraped together what they could, right? And they put it into this thing, hoping that the guy who promises them that he's going to take on the shorts and all that stuff is actually going to do it and make it so that they can leave their life of squalor and poverty behind. So yeah, it sucks. It really, really sucks. And I hope you're able to get back in, and I hope that we have a little rocket ship to ride sooner than later, man. But congratulations on graduating. Fred Jones, Trump is making more sense to the stock market. Jiggy Shukla, best part about Andor Season 2, great allegory for the present day USA. I mean, if you're going to write part of a movie franchise that's all about the evils of fascism and authoritarianism, you're going to have evidence right there in front of you that sort of lays that out very succinctly and very clearly. Lisa Sasa, treats for the pets, please. I don't know where the cat is, but the monkey butt can... Oh, is that something that will wake you up? Huh? Does your Billy want one of these? Yeah? She did have her chemo, so she might not want to be too hungry. I'll put it right there for you. Like, you're interested in it, but I just gave you one, ding dong. So, we'll see if she munches on it. Usually, the day of chemo, she's a little like, I don't know. Oh, she's going for it. Okay. All right, there we go. Excellent. Okay, she's still got her appetite. That's good. Okay. Anonymous, the Secretary of Transportation rerouted his wife's travel because of blackouts. Yeah, he wouldn't let his wife fly into Newark because of the constant blackouts that are happening as a result of him sucking at his job. Just like how people in the Trump administration have started stocking up their own shelves. Mm-hmm. They know the shit's coming. They know they're bad at their jobs, and they're meant to be bad at their jobs. Their job is to tear the entire system down and watch the chaos occur. Seems to be exactly what floating their boat. Lisa saw Coinbase refused to pay $20 million ransom to the hackers. They had to access customer data. They've had access to customer data since January. Also, there's an SEC investigation to Coinbase for lying about how many users they have, which I found interesting. My guess is the hackers may have sent that and let the SEC know that they were lying about that. Yeah, and like, what type of customer data do they have access to? They have access to wallets, to passphrases, to what? All right, Manson, do you remember last May, June, how many at the money calls? How many total calls were there? And is there a way to look that up? My memory, I haven't seen what's happening in June. Usually 1 month ends and there's a lag time between. There was, 1 week of lag? And then Roaring Kitty jumped out and he's like, look at all these shares I got for like June 17th. And everyone went, woohoo! And then things went crazy again. We've not had any Roaring Kitty pop-ins during this so far. We haven't had any like giant 100,000 purchase of options at a certain in the money level. So yeah. There are ways to look it up. I do not have access to the systems. I think that you have to buy a subscription service to look at just how many call options there were back then. I'm sure that if someone has some sort of data scraper, they can probably go through the Wayback Machine and maybe find what the pages look like. I wonder if Wayback Machine, let's see here. If I select GME options, right? If I just go here, go like this. Let's see if Wayback Machine can find something for us. GME options. Okay. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go to the Wayback Machine. Wayback Machine. Let's see if we can search. Enter URL. Boom, boom. Paste that. Let's go. Okay. So let's see here. We've got 2024. We've got May. Oh, we've got the May 28th, 30th, 19th. So we don't have, it's not showing us, we don't have anything showing us anything from prior to that. But let's look at the 30th. May 30th, 8:52 a.m. There's 2 snapshots. Give it to me. Show me. There you go. Okay. Here we go. Oh, this is midnight, so there's all zeros there, so that's not helping us at all. That's for May 31st, 2024. June 7th, that's the numbers we want. I don't know if it will go there. Will it give us a snapshot of June 7th? In the way back? So it was the 20s. Oh, sorry, 17th. That's where he had them all, right? 21st. So May 17th, June 21st. There we go. Okay, let's see at least what the volume was. It might not give us the total open interest. What is this? Well, the Wayback Machine may not have taken the best snapshot of this whole thing. I don't know what that even means. Anyway, I'm sure there's someone out there who has a subscription service who could tell us exactly what the total contracts outstanding were. If I remember correctly, we were on June 7th, we were about to put 60 million shares in the money with how many contracts were about to expire. And that wasn't even, that's not even the monthlies, those are weeklies. And there was hundreds of thousands. There was like 400,000, 500,000 contracts that were in the money for the 21st at that point. So a lot of options could have gone kablooey. So, Anywho, that was Robert Manson's. Scroll down. Snort Alert says, "Oi, so tired." And because of my allergy meds. Well, that also will do it. Okay, read. Are there any Michael Burry? Any here? Michael Burry exited the market. Maybe this time he'll be right. He had a whole bunch of Nvidia puts that he was up huge on like a month ago. I don't know if he got out then at all. Michael Burry is like, sometimes he makes sense. Other times you're like, what are you even thinking? And then he gets things horribly wrong. But that's the way it happens for all of us, is that, we miss the boat on a lot of things too. Robert Manson. Ending and the next one starting has May, 181,000 calls. Oh, was this continued from? Oh, there's a lag between. Okay, yeah. There's definitely a lag because the monthlies have been available, especially the June one's been available for 2 years now. So there's gonna be lots of June calls to look at. And so, who has recently spent $2.3 million on 125s? Talking about the puts, $125 puts. Yeah, that's some weird hedging right there, for sure. It's crazy. Dan Clarker says, evening. Beck says, Houston, happy birthday. How do regular people out there manage to get by? I make good money, not great, but okay. I'm being crushed. In Canada, hope fades, but yay monkey. Yeah, yay monkey. Yay monkey, right? Oh, I don't know, man. Like, where I live, the joke is always you either have 3 homes or 3 jobs. And that's how people survive here. So, yeah. Certain Alert says, you want to put healthy again? She is. The doc is like stoked because they don't get to see very often somebody with osteocarcinoma like this not be just riddled in tumors. So she is as stoked as anybody that Monkey's doing so well. I just wish we had caught it sooner. She didn't have to lose her little nub, right? Like having a little leg there. She still goes out and chases the bunny rabbits, but they zig and zag and she just like rolls and can't cut the corners anymore. Copy paste, nobody's forcing the rules. This is true. And they're also eliminating a whole bunch of rules. Seagull, which I loaded up with more finger calls, bought one last Friday that's printing. My $23 20 June calls are looking pretty shade of green as well. Again, look for Gamma Monday and then look for perhaps Virtue and Anson funds to dump on everybody. Because they're up hundreds of percent. They're going to make millions off of that. And Anson Funds apparently is having a hard time paying their legal team for the possible RICO charges they're facing in the whole Andrew Left, Citron Research, Hindenburg stuff. So they may need to come up with some quick cash. So keep your eyes on that. Mystery Machine Houston just made Elon sound like a sugar water alien from Men in Black. Dana Crocker, a good source of market data by industry. Quick overview of air travel as a whole with winners and losers of the day, week, month, etc. Automotive, consumers, retail. I'm sure there are. Quick stock overview airlines. That shows me airline stock performance. Here we go. Yahoo Finance. What do you got for me? Charting airline stock performance. This is month over month over month. And this is, oh shit, we really are going to die. Now for some reason it's going back up again. So that's the stock prices. Market cap's 103 billion. Delta Airlines, United, and it's still $76 price. Market cap's 25 billion. Doesn't really give me too much showing me exactly. I guess I got to click on that airline alone to see what their earnings and revenue and stuff is. Earnings per share is pretty darn good. They're at $10.99 per share. That's much better than they were like 20 years ago. So that's not bad. That's $10.99 per share for a $76 stock. That's like a 14% return, basically. Not doing a dividend, though, are they? They're just amassing cash at the moment. What's their total revenue? Show me United Airlines UAL 2004 revenue. Well, it's a loss. That doesn't help me at all. 16 billion. Okay, so the total revenue is $16 billion. Oh, it's 2004. That's not 20. Oh, I did do 2004. Dang it. Did I put a 2 in there? 2024. That's what I want. Okay, $57 billion. That makes a little more sense. So total revenue is $57 billion. $2.5 billion in canceled flights probably for this year. So that's basically their entire net income. So yeah. So I would expect at this point total revenue for United Airlines to go down with the way things are being handled. Zach Delia thinks fingers going to run. Rumor is Alibaba is buying in and over 260 million naked shorts. You got me. It's all buy on rumor, sell on news. Is it going to be HKD 2.0? Well, HKD is a different scenario because HKD was a Chinese IPO where their underwriters sell shares to their friends ahead of the market, and then HKD never gave the shares to their underwriters. So the stock went live with no shares to transfer, and there was an automatic short squeeze right at the beginning going to $2,000 a share. So it's a different situation, but things run to $1,000 share of fun. So why not? Happy Sunday. Happy birthday, H-Dog. United Health is extremely cheap right now. Do you think it's a good play? I mean, probably long term. I mean, insurance companies are evil, but so are oil companies, and so are defense contractors and UNH dividend. So it does a $2.10 dividend per quarter. So looking at $8 a year. It's at $2.74 at the moment. Fell off a cliff though. I mean, look at this thing. It was at $600 in April, and now it's at $300. It's dropped in half just in that amount of time. UNH options chain. Let's see. These are going to be expensive options because it's a very expensive stock. But let's look out. Let's look out to July. Right. So they don't have very many. Like they're almost at the bottom of their call options chain. This thing's dropped so much. Holy smokes! These folks, like this guy right here, who probably bought these 230s for like $1. He's made $5,600 off each one. He's or she is probably absolutely stoked. The implied volatility is still pretty low. Now, if you were to look out and say, hey, maybe United Healthcare will climb back to where it once was. I mean, Tesla did it for absolutely no reason. It went from $200 back to $340 or wherever it is right now. You can buy these suckers out here pretty far. I mean, it was at $600 not too long ago, and you can pick up a $600 call option for, 6 weeks out, 2 months out for $62. So if it climbs up and gets to even, right, that thing's gonna be worth $3,000. Even if it bounces back, $100, so it bounces back from $260 to $360, right? That means it means it'll be worth $1.47. So basically double your money if there's that kind of bounce back. I wonder if their yearlies, if they started to make stuff well below 230. No, 230 is the floor. Goodness gracious. So their puts, 210 is the lowest put they have. Even then, those are $2,000. Oh, there. Ugh. That's the chemo fart. Whew. Dude, cover that little butthole. No need to blast that too. On that spicy note, it's time to go. I'll see you guys tomorrow for a regular show. Perhaps we'll talk about what kind of gamma we can expect for GME and or Finger on Monday. And my brain is not. She just filled the room. Whew. Dog farts. So bad. Anyway, sorry I didn't get to everybody's questions. Ask them again. We'll talk about them tomorrow. And we'll talk possible gammas, gamma ramping, gamma squeezes, and so on. Until then, shabing. Buddy. Inside is rotten. It is rotten.